All right. Good evening, everyone.
Yes.
This is our first
Woo-hoo.
inaugural, fantastic, awesome, In the Mix with the Mitchells. I am Tony Mitchell, and this is my beautiful, beautiful wife, Sanita Mitchell. And we are here to just basically, let me just say what we are, who we are, and what we are actually trying to implement here.
Can we first say Happy New Year, everybody? Welcome to 2019.
Yes, 2019. You actually made it through 2018. Now it's here, 2019. This is going to be an awesome year. Guess what? One person told me we have 12 books, meaning 12 months, that we have to write whatever successes we're going to have, all the achievements we're going to have. Everything that we want to accomplish in 2019, we have the opportunity right now to write those 12 chapters and make it count. So we are definitely excited about 2019. We are definitely excited about having this show. Again, we are the perfect family blend. And basically our mission is to build, nurture, and keep blended families together. So on this show, In the Mix with the Mitchells, we're going to cover a number of topics throughout this year, but we are definitely focused on making sure that blended families are thriving and successful.
Yes, and so we are so super thrilled to be able to come into your home, and we plan on bringing you value. That is one of our keywords for the year, and as well as stretching you. So not only are we going to be stretching ourselves and bringing value within ourselves, we want to bring value to you and really bring you a quality program that is going to help you stretch beyond what you have already achieved in your marriage, in your relationship. So that's what In the Mix is. So a little bit about each other. I'm Sanita Mitchell.
And I'm Tony Mitchell.
And we have been married since September 19, 2009. And we are a blended family. I came into the relationship with two boys at the time. One was 16, one was 7. And so we know a little bit about blending the family. Tony came into the relationship with no children. We have since had 3 children together now. We have one angel baby named Anaya Simone. We had her early. We lost her at 28 weeks of gestation. And so that really impacted us. You're talking about impact right at the beginning of a marriage when you're already learning each other. You're already learning, coming together and growing. And then after about 3 years of trials and struggles and health challenges, we had 2 of our miracle babies, we say, because we were told that we would not be able to have children on our own without IVF. So we have a whole gamut of things that we experienced as a blended family. We have co-parents. We have 2 co-parents who are totally different, night and day, clearly. So just how do you blend all of these things? So the first things that we wanted to just spend time just telling them a fun fact about you. Tell them a fun fact.
Oh, a fun fact about me. This is a very fun fact. I am I won't say diehard, but I'm an extremely big fan of the Dallas Cowboys. And we are here. We're in the playoffs, so this Saturday, we're going to show the Seahawks something about themselves. This Saturday, we're going to move on, and we're going to make it all the way to the Super Bowl, baby. So that is a fun fact about me. Go Cowboys. Follow the star.
Oh, Lord. I don't know if you guys heard the passion in that. So, when we first got married, I didn't know anything about football, didn't care about football, didn't know nothing about football. But, again, and we were a house divided, so that's kind of funny because I eventually started liking football. And I like Peyton Manning. Let me just say that. I just like Peyton Manning. So when he was with the Colts, I was a Colts fan. When he went to the Broncos, woo woo, Super Bowl champions. I was a Super Bowl. I was a Broncos fan for that moment. As soon as he retired, that was the end of my Bronco football season. So now I do support. Come on, I do support.
You did.
Came over to the Star because you got to support your man.
Yes. And it says in the Bible, a house divided cannot stand. So just imagine, I went through these years of just division in my household when it came to football. But now we're on the same page and our marriage is better for it. So, yes.
Well, even our oldest son, he was a San Diego Chargers fan, and now he's Ravens. He's a Ravens fan. So, I mean, we were definitely a house divided. Yeah. And we have a real cute picture that next week or so we'll show, how we were divided, and now we're pretty unified now. So a fun fact about me is I like to just hang out at the beach and be by the water. So I like to chill. I like to just be, anything near water is going to sell me. So I just love to be by the water and just look at the water. I don't have to be doing anything. I can just be by the water.
Now your definition of chill it's not everyone's definition of chill. My definition of chill is doing nothing. You go by the water, you set your seat up. If you're on the beach, you set your seat up and you sit, and then you do nothing. What's your definition of chill?
Sit by the beach and do nothing.
No. Her definition of chill is we're going to do all these different 7 to 10 different activities at the beach. And then eventually when we accomplish all of these 10 different activities, then we might just sit down and just chill.
But we're still by the water.
Right.
So we still by the water. I don't see it as 10 or 20 different things by the water. But anyway, that's my fun fact. And so a little bit about us is that we're both entrepreneurs. So we do have In the Mix with the Mitchells. And then we also have a nonprofit, which is Anaya's Project, which of course is based on our daughter, Anaya, who we lost on April 2010. So that is all about helping families cope with the loss, as well as coping with dealing with fertility challenges, because that was very stressful, because I was very fearful about how that was going to impact our marriage, because, again, I came in the relationship with 2 boys, and Tony had no children. So I really felt like that was going to impact our marriage, and it didn't, thank God, but we've come across a lot of families where that is a major issue.
Yes.
Even if it's the woman coming in with no children and maybe the husband has issues, it's still very, difficult. To maneuver through that. I'm also a child care owner. We don't have an in-home daycare, Bright Sparkles Family Daycare. So, and then now we have In the Mix with the Mitchells. So we are quite busy. Now, Tony's 9 to 5 is?
I work for the federal government, more specifically the Department of Defense, for the Army Corps of Engineers. So I am what they say, an IT portfolio manager for the Army Corps of Engineers. So I am very, very busy every single day because I have to talk to so many people to make sure that we account for every single dollar that is spent. Your government dollars. I have to make sure that it's spent wisely. So that is a full-time job. It's really a 9-hour job, but I try to condense everything in 8 hours each day.
Yes. And so let's get to it. So In the Mix, why did we even come up with In the Mix? Let's tell them why and what they can expect from this show.
Well, the reason why we came up with In the Mix is because, just as Sunita said, we've been married 9 years and we've been together 10. And during those 10 years, 9 years being married, we have faced some challenges within our marriage. We faced challenges within the first couple of months of our marriage. The blending process of me blending with our sons. I notice one thing that we'll say on this show, we'll never say stepchildren or step parents or anything like that. We don't believe in that word. We always say blended children or
bonus children,
a bonus parent. So coming in as a bonus parent to our two sons, it was some integrating going on with that as well. It was some good moments. It was some not so good moments.
Yeah.
But we overcame all of those challenges, those roadblocks, those obstacles that could have really affected our marriage and affected our family. But to God be the glory, we were able to navigate through all of those different things. So we're in the mix. We're basically going to take our life story, our lessons learned, and we're going to actually share those with each and one of you, because when you look at blended families, it's becoming the number one dynamic of the family structure here in the U.S., and not just the U.S., but in the world as well.
Right. And so it's important to also shed the light of all the goodness that comes out of a blended family, because so many times when we hear about blended families, it's usually negative, you know, people fighting, like not just verbally, but physically, and a lot of dysfunction and like extra work. And it really has a negative stigma that we really want to eradicate, or at least help to eradicate. So, you know, we're going to talk about some drama, and we're going to have some serious issues, but it's not all going to be just about the negative and what's wrong and how we can fix it, but like really focusing on how families can really succeed at blending. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about our top 5 advantages and some even cons of being in a blended family. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
All right. All right, welcome back. This is In the Mix with the Mitchells. I am Tony Mitchell, and this is my beautiful wife, Sunita Mitchell.
Yes, and so far we've learned a lot. You've learned a lot about us and who we are and what we do. And before we jump into our topics for tonight, we wanted to give you the number just in case you wanted to dial in and conversate with us. So the number is 240-719-2560. Again, 240-719-2560. And so we're going to talk about the top 5 benefits of being in a blended family. So, yeah, there are some benefits to being in a blended family. And believe me, this is not a comprehensive list. This is just the top Power 5.
Yes.
So go ahead, Tony.
All right. So number one of the benefits, flexibility. So when you think about flexibility, that means the ability to expand, the ability to coexist, to make changes, to create new things. Flexibility, not to always see things your way. That's flexibility. To work things out, to come to a cohesive understanding for a common solution. So, say for instance, blended family, you might be coming together for the holidays. Flexibility on the holidays. Say, hey, you know, our children, they spend Thanksgiving with us, and then on Christmas they spend time with you. On Mother's Day, you know for a fact they're going to come see the mother, and then on Father's Day they're going to spend time with me as the father. So those are just some examples of being flexible. You're taking yourself out of the situation. You're taking your own ambitions out of the situation, and you're thinking of the bigger picture, the bigger whole of the situation, and you're making sure that everyone is in a win-win situation.
Right, and that's inclusive of the whole family. So even with the children, you know, the children learn to do different things. Like we talked about as we was coming up with these top 5, we were like flexibility. You know, when the children go away, like we have a teenager who leaves, and so sometimes people have to step up and do the chore of that person who's gone. And so you're thinking about that and how the impact of one child who leaves the home really impacts the family. But then two, it is the children learn how to maneuver, because now if you've come in and you have small children or teenagers, like that's a big gap. And so sometimes you have to learn what's going to work. What are we going to be able to do? Because if your children are playing sports, if your children are in Girl Scouts or they're in Boy Scouts or they're in, you know, some sport or some after school project or school, you know, it's keeping them engaged. And so they learn, okay, let me see if we'll be able to do X, Y, Z because, you know, my sibling may be doing something. So everyone just learns to be a little bit flexible. So not just, I just wanted to throw that in, just not from the couple perspective, but the children also learn flexibility.
Right. And then a second benefit is problem solving. So when you think about this, every family has problem solving situations problems they got to solve.
Right.
So every family has that. But, you know, when you think about blended families, it's a little bit more dynamics associated with that. But the ability to problem solve, the ability to address an issue, not only between spouses, not only between the co-parent, the bonus parents, or the co-parents, so to speak, the children, the grandparents,
aunties,
the aunties, uncles, you name it.
Friends.
Right. You name it, there's going to be some issues that's going to come up. You can't avoid it, but when you do come across it, the best thing you could do is acknowledge it and try to resolve it as quickly and seamlessly as possible. And then, too, with the problem solving, one of the things that we experienced with one of the co-parents is we had a problem. We addressed the problem, and then we came to an agreement that we are going to agree to disagree.
Right.
So in that situation, we both left the table with the same mindset, and we didn't come across that problem again because we came to a resolution on it because we thought about the bigger picture.
Right. And it wasn't just me and Tony and the co-parent and his significant other, but it was actually the children involved with the situation. So all 6 of us sat down and had a conversation, and they were able to hear. They were, you know, bonus brother and sister, and they were able to hear what the other person felt about what happened. And even they didn't like see eye to eye on what took place. But again, that was giving them problem solving skills on how to bring up, you know, tough how to have a tough conversation, even when you're, I guess they was about 14 and then the other one was maybe about 12 or so. So problem solving skills. So yes, that's a benefit, just in case some people were wondering why we would say problem solving skills is a benefit. Number 3.
Yes, the more, the merrier. Old proverb says it takes a village to raise a child. So, hey, the more the merrier. If you could get the parents, the co-parents, and I already mentioned the grandparents, the aunties, the uncles, the cousins, the friends, the godparents, if you could get everyone involved and everyone on the same page moving towards a common goal, that you could achieve amazing results within your blended family. And not just a blended family, but as a family as a whole. Mm-hmm. So the more the merrier. That's awesome. If you can, we know one lady, she's so blended with her bonus parents that they all vacation together.
Yeah.
They all talk to each other.
Vacation. I mean, like generations, like her ex was married and then got remarried again, and they all 3 go somewhere together. And then that's like multiple friends. So they got a divorce, and then he got married, and then he got divorced from that marriage and now remarried. So all 3 of them go hang out, and they've each had children, of course. And so the more the merrier. So even if you don't have that kind of dynamic, think of it as opposed to, especially for those who are dating or marry someone whose children come in for a visit, don't look at it as, man, here come them other 3. You know what I mean? Like, right. We're here with my 2, and then here come his 3. Like, think of it like the more the merrier. This is more opportunities and siblings for your children to develop and grow in relationships. That's 3 more people that they can love on and get to know of, and then those relatives. So anyway, the more the merrier. And Then number 4,
happier parents.
Right. So, that chokes them up every time.
Yeah, that chokes me up because, for me, just being transparent, I wasn't always as open to the co-parents as I should have been. Mm-hmm. I was pretty much given like the cold shoulder, so to speak.
Yeah, rude.
Very rude. Very
right.
rude.
Call it what it is.
But epiphany happened last year. Actually, we were preparing to do our actual conference, our first annual conference for the Perfect Family Blend. Working with one of the co-parents, setting up one of the events that was going to happen at the conference, it finally dawned on me that I'm not really making it easy for him to really be involved in the interactions of our son. So basically, we sat down, we talked, and we basically worked things out. So it can happen. Right. And it's making things more happier from a parental standpoint, because now he doesn't feel like he's walking on eggshells when he's around me.
Right, and happier parents is also for the people who come out of marriages or broken or horrible relationships. Let's just call it what it is. You just didn't work. And every time you were arguing, every time you were having disagreements, you were divorced. It was an ugly divorce. And now you're in a new relationship. You're in a new marriage. Now you're more happier. So now your children see that you're happy, that it's okay to come from a divorced family and be happy. And now your mother is happier. Now they see their father is happier, whether or not, they're in another relationship or not. But just the fact that the parents are in a better place makes the parents happier. So when the parents are happy, they tend to be able to focus more on the children more clearly and more definitively. And number 5,
combine resources. And we're not just talking about financially combined resources.
That's important.
That's important. That's very important.
As a single mom going into getting married, having you come along with another income was very good. That is a benefit. It is good. It is good to have another person that can help you with the bills. That is huge. That is a huge benefit to have another person that can do pickup duty. That is a huge benefit of somebody else that, hey, I don't know what else to do, and have another person that you can talk to about. But there are some other benefits of resources that he wants to share.
Yeah. Those are some great benefits. One of the other benefits that I look at is the combined talent that the skill sets. The husband has a skill set that he's really good at. The wife has a skill set that she's really good at. Mm-hmm. The children, don't discount the children. The children also have talents as well. They also have skill sets. One thing that I think about is, for myself, I was the only child. So just imagine if my mother would have got married to someone else and we potentially created a blended family, I could have had some siblings as a result of that. So that might be an additional combined resource, is having additional siblings. So additional grandparents, additional other family members. So the resources that you're combining when you become a blended family
can be huge.
Can be huge.
Right.
And really turn your trajectory from when you were just single and managing to now you're working together with your partner.
Okay, so now we're going to get into the top 5. I think we have enough time to go into the top 5 cons of a blended family. So, number 1 con of a blended family that we came up with was jealousy and confusion. So, they go hand in hand, because a lot of times jealousy is, especially if you have a person who didn't want the other person to leave and they haven't quite gotten over the fact that that person has moved on. And so they tend to wreak havoc in what could be a really good family unit. And so if you're not strong and if you help set up a firm foundation, that jealousy and confusion, jealousy when the other children come over, jealousy when the other parent has to come around your spouse or significant other, confusion, the children can experience the jealousy of another child. So if there's another child who's there and then the child is coming in for their visitation and then they have to leave, sometimes that creates jealousy, confusion on when visitations are supposed to take place, right? So sometimes you have made plans and somehow or another the co-parent may not have written down something and they were supposed to get the child, and now you have made plans to go somewhere and now the co-parent has backed out or maybe just simply made a mistake, and now there's confusion on where everybody stands. Like a lot of times if you don't deal with certain issues, you're going to have to deal with some form of jealousy and confusion. But if you take the time to deal with the needs of each person, you can kind of eliminate or kind of deal with the jealousy and confusion. Number 2 is insecurity. Woo. I'm going to say that again. Insecurity is a con of the blended family. When we're not secure, we're not anchored. We're not confident in who we are and what. Like if Tony was insecure about where I stood with the co-parents, then even though he was leaving people outside, it wasn't because he was just insecure. He just had some other things, but that insecurity could creep in because, what is she doing? Is she having conversations with this person? What are they talking about? Why is he texting her? Like, I had to make sure that he was secure in how I felt about him and where we were as a couple. But insecurity will kill the blended family because no one wins. And if you don't address it, then it will totally destroy a marriage or a relationship. Before you can even get to the marriage, insecurity can kill it. And then once it's there and you just let it lie dormant, it will totally wreak havoc in your relationship or family. Yes. Jump in if you want. So discipline issues Woo! Discipline. So many people. I'm in so many different blended family groups, and dealing with discipline will kill or strain a blended family. Discipline. What do I mean? I'm not just talking about spanking. I mean, you don't allow that child to do something that, say, the biological parent would allow that child to do, and then the bonus mom or dad say no. You know, here in this house, if they break a rule, they may not be able to go with us to somewhere, right? But now the biological mom or dad finds out, and they're like, what are you doing? Who are you? You can't tell my child, no. What do their daddies say? Like, that just kills. And the children watch. Mm-hmm. Children are so smart, and they know how to manipulate and work it for their benefit. And so discipline issues, spanking. Why you spank this one? Maybe would he spank his child,
right.
Like that for that little simple issue? You know what I mean? Discipline.
Yeah, and one of the things, just kind of looking at ourselves as an example, one of the things we did before we got married is with our teenage son, we actually talked with the co-parent to talk about discipline, to make sure that we were all on the same page. So once we had that discussion, everyone was level set. Everyone knew the expectation of what was okay punishment, or what was not. But then afterwards, we kind of had to, Sneed and myself, we had to work out some of the discipline issues
between each other.
Because right. I might say, for instance, someone does something, I might say, oh, you know what, you're not going to play PlayStation for a week.
But then I come along and say, that's too harsh for that.
Right. And so now there's a little friction that, so to speak, because now it's like, oh, so you just going to usurp what I just said.
Right.
So that causes friction between us. But, our son, he's like, okay, I could play both sides of the fence now. Because no matter what dad says, I can tell mom the situation, and she's got my back now.
Right.
So once we did eventually get on a united front.
It was not easy.
It was not
We don't have the time to go all through the details of it, but yeah.
That's a show to itself.
That's a show to itself.
But eventually we got on the same page with discipline between each other, and then everything else fell in place. But that was a road that we had to really journey on before we got it right.
And we still go through it. Like, you still have to be open. So we'll talk about discipline issues, but discipline issues is big. Number 4, bad blood with the co-parent. Like, sometimes you just not going to get along with the co-parent. Like, we're not in a fairyland, a Disney World where everybody just, and at the end, we just going to kumbaya and skip through the tulips and be able to go on vacations. Like, we understand that there are some dynamics that you just not going to get along. And that is a con to the blended family, is that is a stressor that you may have to contend with, is that if you and the co-parent cannot see eye to eye, like, and that person may be, as they say, like, just totally, difficult. Like, there's no getting around. You have tried multiple ways to work with this person, but they are refusing to budge on their thoughts, budge on how they feel about you, budge about how you and the person are together, like, or vice versa. You just don't like them and you not budging. You know what I mean? So it ain't always the co-parent. Sometimes, the bonus parents can come in with their unrealistic expectations on what they think should occur and how. And sometimes that creates bad blood. And so even the bonus parents, we can consider, they're part of the co-parenting process. So you can either help or not help. And so when you have the bad blood, that is a con to the blended family. And then lastly, misunderstanding of finances.
Yes.
So this was key because we were really, trying to narrow this down to 5 cons. And when it comes down to the finances, what we meant was, okay, say you are a family, and you may have to pay, one of the parents or spouses has to pay child support. Okay, they pay the child support, but now the parent that they're paying the child support to is like, oh, Sally needs the room painted. Can you give money to the room being painted? So that parent says, sure, I'll give them the money, but they never talk to their spouse. And so the spouse doesn't know, because the spouses should be aware that this parent, that their spouse is paying child support. So they've budgeted to spend, $800, $400, or whatever, $1,300, whatever it is. You've already budgeted that. But now their spouse has gone on and just gave the co-parent an additional $500. Not once, but maybe twice, like, okay, now they need new furniture. You still don't go talk to your spouse. You make an executive decision, and you go and you give your ex $2,000 for furniture for your child. Like, misunderstanding, miscommunication about the finances is huge. Yes, so, we see it time and time again where, the co-parent may be asking for additional funds, and then that particular parent don't share that information.
Yeah, communication in this instance is just very key, and the lack of it could really lead to misunderstanding, especially when it comes to money, because you got your own household to maintain.
Right.
You have your own children that's staying in that household to take care of. So any money that is extra that is going out of the house, and then all of a sudden you come and say, well, such and such said we need to get X, Y, and Z for the child, so I just went on and gave it. Well, that might be a noble deed. However, you didn't communicate that with your spouse.
Right.
So now there's tension between you and your spouse, because now that extra $500 that you just gave away was budgeted to go towards something else for your household.
Right.
So basically, you just have to stay on the same page, because you start doing this and you develop a rhythm and a habit of just continually doing this.
Right.
I promise you're going to have friction in your marriage.
You're going to have friction. Yeah. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with our 9 tips for having a successfully blended family in 2019.
Looking for a place to advertise your business and promote your products and services? VoxWave is the right place. We have over 10,000 views a day and 70,000 listeners a month. For more information, contact Reg Gaskins at 240-832-4455.
VoxWave now features a streaming radio media player on our website's front page, where local artists can get their music played 24/7. For more information on getting your music in rotation or to perform live at our studio, contact Reg Gaskins at 240-832-4455.
Android users, the VoxWave app is now available in the Google Play Store. Download the app today on your Android device to listen in and view programs.
We here at VoxWave believe that no one in the DMV should go without a coat this winter. So we partnered with Star Imports dealership for this year's annual coat drive. If you have an old or gently used coat that can still be worn, drop it off with us. VoxWave Studios at 4711 Off Place, Suitland, Maryland, and give the gift of warmth to somebody in need in the DMV.
DJ Rick Entertainment.
DJ Rick Entertainment, hottest DJ in the DMV area, CEO of Step Your Game Up and the Youth Project Show, the DJ on the Heartbeat Conga Hour, and sound engineer for a variety of bands. DJ Rick Entertainment is your #1 company for all your stage and sound event needs. Call 202-390-1151. That's 202-390-1151.
DJ Rick Entertainment.
All right, so welcome back.
Welcome back to In the Mix with the Mitchells. I am Tony Mitchell.
And I am Sanita Mitchell. And before we go into, we have already discussed the top five benefits of a blended family, as well as the top 5 cons to being in a blended family. But before we go into our 9 tips of having a successfully blended family, we wanted to give you the number to dial in if you had a question or if you wanted to chime in on any one of the things we've spoken about. The number is 240-719-2560. All right, so we've given you all that information, and now we're going to give you 9 tips for having a successfully blended family.
All right, so the first tip that we're going to give is communication. Communication is essential for your marriage. It's essential for your family. Communicating with your children, communicating with the co-parents, communicating with each other. You have to have that communication, and it has to be open. And you have to be willing to communicate everything, the good and the bad, all in love.
That's right. And then number 2, trust. See, once you've established the communication, it builds up trust. Trust is easy to get, but what they say is easy to destroy and hard to rebuild, right?
Yes.
So you can lose trust so fast. So a lot of times trust is lost due to a lack of communication. So trust, you got to have trust and maintain that trust.
All right.
And not just trust between each other. Again, we're really going to be stressing that it's not always just about the parent, the 2 spouses, but it's also trust with each other, me and Tony, but me and and us and the boys and our, the whole family, and then trust with the co-parents. Everybody has to have trust.
Yes.
And then
All
number
right.
3.
Number 3, selflessness. Selflessness.
Say that again.
Selflessness.
All right.
You got to take yourself out of the situation. You have to think of what is best for our family, what is best for the children, what is best for everyone that is involved. Because you have to think, it's not about you. It's not about you. When you said I do, you said I sacrifice everything to ensure that this family is moving in the right direction. So selflessness, meaning you have to continue to think about how can I make my spouse better? How can I make my family better? How can I make the relationship with the co-parents better? And everyone else that's involved, how can I make it better?
Right. That's good. And then that brings us up to number 4, which is forgiveness. I'm going to say it again. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is so hard because forgiveness means letting go. Because see, once you've gotten over yourself, then that allows you to walk in forgiveness. It actually frees you up to forgive the other person who has offended you. It frees you to forgive the co-parent. It frees you to forgive the spouse. It frees you to forgive the children, that teen, that young adult, that young child, because people do have a hard time even forgiving toddlers and adolescents. So once you learn to forgive, it just really will do a wonder on your family. And I mean, don't keep bringing it up. That's what forgiveness is. We always talk about how we want God to forgive us, and don't remember that. But then we're not doing that with the people we see every day. We hold them in bondage based on not forgiving them and holding it over their head. And every little moment that you get, you throw it back in their face. That's not true forgiveness. So if you want to be successful in this 2019, you're going to have to forgive everything that has been done. I'm not saying you allow the things to just constantly occur, and like if you've been hurt or if you've been mistreated, that you just constantly just keep being mistreated, but you just got to forgive and move on. And so number 5, fun, right? Woo.
You got to have fun. You can't be uptight
Relax.
all the time. Relax, have fun.
Yeah.
I could definitely say for our family, it was this key tip that brought us together as a family. Fun, having fun. Create memories. Create different things. And with the fun, you don't have to spend a lot of money to have fun. Find something, just go to the park and just have fun. Go.
It's lots of free things.
It's
The
a lot of free
museums,
things.
it's a lot of things you can do. Look, Google is your friend.
Yes.
Google, if you type free activities for the family, a whole list of things will show up that you can have new experiences. That's what you was
Right.
talking about,
New
having
experiences.
new experiences. So maybe you know, all used to do different things before you came together, but now this is the opportunity to do something new that either you all are going to love or you're going to hate. But guess what? That's going to be a big conversation piece.
Exactly.
Right? So have fun. I mean,
Have
it's
fun.
only so many times you can just keep spinning around in that same rut of this isn't working or she didn't do this or she. Just go have fun.
Yes.
Number 6, love. 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 Let's get more love into these blended families. I mean, without love, it is impossible to have a blended family. I'm not redoing the scripture, but it is impossible to please God without love, right? You got to have love.
Yes.
Right? You got to have love. And, you know, we do, we're Christians, we love the word of God, and love covers a multitude of sins,
Yes.
right? It covers a multitude of wrongdoings. So you got to learn to love beyond, stretch yourself. That's what we talked about at the beginning. That's my word for 2019 is stretch. So you got to stretch, and love, true love, will cause you to stretch beyond what you're comfortable doing. So you may not like what you have to do. You may not like doing it, but you will grow to like it because you ultimately want to grow and keep the love with your spouse, keep the love with your children, or even develop the love with your children. Number 7,
Balance.
balance is key.
You got to have balance. You can't be on one lump side on one end, lump side on the other end. You have to have balance within your marriage. You have to have balance within your family. I mean, it's so important. You have to make sure that everyone is getting the proper attention, getting the proper love, getting the proper respect. That's a very key thing as well. And just getting to being intentional about everything. So balance will help you in that regard.
And one nugget for balance is you got to plan it. Plan balance. Like we have quarterly dates that we're going to do better in 2019. We slip off. See, we ain't perfect. Perfect don't mean you always do it right, but you learn to make it better the next time so you can get to the perfection, right? So quarterly dates. Plan those family vacations now. Think about all the different things that your children may be doing and balance. Are y'all doing too many things? How many activities can your children be in before everybody is spread thin? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So think about that. Self-care. You got to be taking care of yourself emotionally, spiritually, physically, so that you can remain balanced. Number 8.
Patience. You got to have patience. It's going to be things that you're going to encounter that's going to require your absolute patience. And it's going to test your patience.
Yeah. Whew, come on now.
It's going to test your patience, but you have to remain patient. You have to go through the process.
Right.
Because, hey, just because you're doing okay or you're doing good or you're doing great as a blended family, that doesn't mean challenges are not going to come knocking on your door. That's
they
going to
gonna
test
knock.
your patience.
Woo.
Because it's going to come, and when it comes, you have to be able to endure it.
Yes, patience. It's hard. Patience. Whew, I ain't even, you said it right there. And then lastly, community. So community is, I know, right? Community. Why is community a part of being in a successful blended family? Because you cannot do it alone. You have to be around people who are successful. You have to be around people who are striving to keep their families together. If all your friends just like having struggles, like who do you turn to? Like a community is, I was telling Tony as we was coming up with this, you think about your neighborhood, right? Who's in the house, your neighbors, So who are the people that hold you accountable? That's me knocking. Who's your accountability people? Who are the people that are going to check you and say, how long are you going to argue about that? How long are you going to carry that weight? How long are you going to continue to talk about that? Like, when are you going to let that go? Who are your accountability folks? See, that's your community. Your community is the people who, when your back is up against the wall, who is it that you can call to say, we need help? And they're going to give you the help. Or they can say, you need to go to this counseling session. Y'all been fighting and and I don't mean physically. I mean like you're arguing, you're doing detriment. Like the children are going through different phases and maybe you've never had, we have children who are 4, 5, 17, and 26. So we have been through the gamut of, the young children to teenage years into young adults. And so you need other people who have gone through them going to college, or maybe they don't go to college, and maybe they haven't figured out what they want to do, and they keep calling you, and they keep asking you for money, and they keep changing their mind. Like, you need a community of people that say, hey, guys, you need to cut that person off. You need to cut them off. I know that's your child, but you need to cut them off. Or you need to do this, or we can help you with these resources, right? Community. That was it. I think that was it for the community. So you need people who are going to hold you and be there. So if you don't have a community, that's the purpose of In the Mix with the Mitchells. It's about building a community of families who want to be healthy, who want to grow, who want to develop and really eliminate that negative stigma about being in a blended family. They tired of arguing, they tired of fighting, they're tired of it, having the same conversations or the same arguments, but just stuck. So that's what this is. This is one of the communities that you can put down in your book, that we are here to help you.
Yes, you.
To help you. And so here on the show, we're going to be having different segments. So we know we're getting ready to wrap up. So we want to tell you a little bit about what you can expect monthly from us. So we'll both be tag teaming. We'll definitely have guests. So if you are someone who would like to be on our show, come on, because we need the experts, because again, we're building a community, we're building a tribe. And so right now we'll have the men's segment, so you can tell them real briefly about your men's segment.
Yes, so on the men's segment, every third Thursday of our show, it would be strictly for the men, strictly for the husbands. It's going to be called the Husband's Playbook. And with the Husband's Playbook, when you think about the playbook, you think about sports. You have a playbook for offense, you have a playbook for defense. But for a man, for a husband, what is the best playbook you can have that will guarantee you success within your family, within your community, with just knowing who you are? That's the Bible. So we're going to tackle topics that affect men, that affect husbands, and we're going to have fun. Not just, we're not going to preach a sermon to you.
Not every week.
Not every week.
Right.
But we're going to have fun discussing how you can become better through the Word of God.
And then on the fourth week, we will have Purposely Designed. And that is for the wives. So we'll be bringing in wives or women who are going to be married or dating, and we're just going to talk from our perspective on what it is. So I have some really, really juicy things that I want to discuss, from even having bonus moms on to discuss. So we're just going to discuss different topics and giving you tips, but then we're also going to just be, sharing. Me and Tony will be sharing, and we'll be having, again, special guests come on the show to really give you that value and really give you that stretch, right? We all need to stretch. We all need to grow, right? And we're even stretching and we're even growing, right?
Yes.
And so we just want to thank you
for
so joining us on our first night, and we pray that this has really, really blessed you. And we look forward. You can come on here every Thursday at 9:15. 9:15 to 10:15. We will be on here and set your timers. I guarantee you that this will not waste your time. You will gain nuggets whether you are in a blended family or not in a blended family.
Yes, and then we also want to dedicate this first show to our spiritual mother, Sadiqa Petaway. We celebrate her life. We celebrate all the work that she has done. Accountability, she held us accountable for doing what God has called us to do. And this is one of the things that is a result of her holding us accountable and really just believing that God had called us for a purpose. And you need people like that in your life. So we're definitely going to keep her legacy alive. We're going to do some things, that's going to be strictly focused on some of the aspects that the foundation that she laid. And we're going to keep that flag going.
All right. So thank you so much for joining us. We will catch you here next week in the mix with the Mitchells. Again, if you're interested in becoming one of our sponsors, please email us at theperfectfamilyblend@gmail.com. Or if you're interested in coming on our show, you have an event, you have some topics, you have a book, you have a show you're doing, a performer, anything, not, let me play a music, I'm a performer, but anything like that you would like to come on to the show, again, you can email us at theperfectfamilyblend@gmail.com. We will see you next week. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thank you for joining us. God bless.
God bless. Thank you, guys.